Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, and this is a slightly different video to what we normally do. If you're brand new to my channel, what I normally do is I'm a horse racing tipster, and I normally give you daily Lucky 15 predictions, and this is slightly a different thing that I'm going to try and do this year, more kind of previews of big races. We already did one a couple of weeks ago for the Lincoln at Doncaster, where I gave you the kind of profile you might want to look at, the kind of horse you might want to be following when you're looking at these quite difficult competitive races, and I came up with the winner, which was Adieb. I was on it at 10 to 1, went off round about 5 to 1 in the end. Wasn't the complete favourite, but in the end I managed to find the winner by giving you kind of the profile, and that's something I want to give you a kind of indication from looking at the statistics. And kind of when you look at the statistics, you kind of can build up an image when you look at the lineup of the kind of horse you want to be backing in these very tough, difficult races. So hopefully I can give you a few pointers along the way, and also as well I'll be looking at a few of the runners in the field tomorrow, giving you the ones that I kind of fancy, and also as well maybe some of the ones to avoid. So we're going to get stuck into looking at some statistics of this race. A good starting place, I always think, to start when you come to look at these good races is what the record's like of favourites in the race. Well, favourites in this particular race haven't got a very good record, even though last year our Duke was the favourite in the race. That was the first favourite since Shut the Front Door had won back in 2014, I think that was. So favourites haven't got a strong record in this year, in this particular race. And if you actually look back in the last 10 years, those two favourites I just mentioned, our Duke and Shut the Front Door, are the only two favourites to win this race, and you get quite a lot of longer odd horses that do win this race. So that's something maybe to keep an eye on. But if we're looking at this year's field, there's not many from an outside perspective that I could really see that profile fitting. So something maybe you could maybe ignore this year, but that is a trend that does seem to be in this race when you're looking for the winner. Also, another thing to mention, which I think is very important when trying to find the winner of this particular race, is the weight they'll be carrying. No horse has won this race carrying more than 11 stone 4 since 2000. So the last 18, 19 renewals of this race haven't provided a good record for top weights, and that's something you want to look at when you're looking through the card tomorrow, trying to find your winner for the Irish Grand National. So you don't want to really be going for top weights. You want a good, nice middle to low racing weight, and the conditions tomorrow as well are going to be very bottomless, soft and heavy ground. So it's going to be a slog out there, and it's going to be handy to have a nice low weight tomorrow. So that's another thing you want to kind of take into the basket when trying to find this winner. Also as well, another interesting fact I thought, if you're maybe new to horse racing, or you just have the occasional punt and you go on the top trainers like Willie Mullins and Gordon Elliott and you think they have good records in this race, well, you're wrong. Willie Mullins and Gordon Elliott have never won this race. It's often kind of trainers like Jessica Harrington, Noel Mead's got quite a good record in the race, that are more stronger trainers in this race. And also as well, some unknown trainers as well. Trainers that have small stables, small operations, have a good record in this race as well. The big names don't tend to dominate this race, and maybe that's something you want to look at tomorrow. Maybe look from a lesser known stable, and there's definitely one horse that could feature with that kind of angle if you wanted to take that angle as well. And also as well, another statistic to take into this race is that young horses tend to have a very good record in the race. If you want to look through the card tomorrow, maybe 7 to 8 year olds are the kind of age group you want to be looking at. They've got a very good record in the race. I think the last 10-year-old to win the race was a few years ago now, so that's something you might want to look at. And our Duke, you might remember last year, he was quite young when he won this. I believe he was a novice when he won it last year as well. And novices tend to have a very good record in this race. So that's something you want to look at. Kind of a young horse that's kind of an improver. And a lot of horses that do win this race do have expectations to then go on and be very good horses later on in their career. Maybe could be Cheltenham Gold Cup contenders. Our Duke was definitely fancy to go well in the Gold Cup this year, but unfortunately it wasn't his day on the day. So this race can be one to watch out for potential winners. So if we look at the kind of leaders in the market at the moment, the one that I will probably give my final selection on is the horse that won the Thyestes Chase at Gorham Park back in January, and it's called Monbeg Notorious. Now, I am going against myself here. It is trained by Gordon Elliott, but remember, Gordon Elliott is a lot younger than Willie Mullins and hasn't been training as long as him, so he's starting to win these races now and really turn up on the day in these kind of particular races. So Monbeg Notorious I thought was very interesting. Currently around about 10 to 1 in the market. Part of the Jigginstown operation. Jack Kennedy's been booked to take the ride tomorrow. He rode him to victory in the Thyestes at Gorham Park back in January, so that's a good relationship there. And I thought the prices tomorrow, with him being 7 years old, the nice low racing weight, also as well he's coming off the back of a good run. He's since run again and he won after winning the Fiestas, so he should be race fit tomorrow. He likes the conditions, he seems to be a stayer in the making, and I thought tomorrow, with all those kinds of statistics playing in our favour, at least if you're trying to find the kind of profile of the horse to win this race, I thought Monbeg Notorious really kind of ticked all the boxes. So that would be my selection. I'll give you a few others that I think may run well tomorrow. Bells Hill is an interesting one, trained by Willie Mullins. So that stat that I did say about Mullins has never won this race. Currently priced about 10 to 1 at the moment. Very much fancied for some of the nationals this year. He might be going for the Grand National after the Irish National even, so he could maybe turn up there. He's been kind of well fancied. Did win the Bobby Joe Chase on his comeback run at Fairyhouse for this season, so he will be arriving in good form from powerful connections as well. David Mullins takes the ride, or David or Danny Mullins tomorrow takes the ride tomorrow. Can't remember who, but they'll be on board tomorrow. So again, a good capable jockey booking. So maybe Bells then, Bells Hill I should say, has a good chance of running in this race tomorrow. But the one I thought that maybe to take on my selection was Malldini, who is currently around about 8 to 1 with bookmakers at the moment. Trained by Patrick Kelly, who's the trainer of Presenting Percy, who obviously, if you followed the Cheltenham Festival and know your horse racing, was a convincing winner of the RSA this year and is definitely sought to be a potential Gold Cup horse going forward. So he knows how to train a big winner. Also as well, Malldini's always been thought as a stayer. He's 8 years old. He has the nice low racing weight tomorrow of 10 stone 4, and he finished very well in the Kinmure behind the Warren Gretorex's horse, Mr. Approach. You might remember that was the Irish dominant day until the last race, where the British clawed back a little bit of pride. So Malldini would probably be my selection to go against the field. I would like maybe Folsom Blue if I didn't know a lot about these statistics, but now I know these statistics, I probably would be against Folsom Blue, so I'll probably put a line through that one. But apart from that, I couldn't really see much anything else really getting into it. If there's any other horses though you think might run well, leave some comments in the comments box below and I'll get back to you and give you my opinion or feelings on them. So that's what I've got to say really. My selection is going to be Monbeg Notorious tomorrow, and with multiple bookmakers playing lots of places, I thought he was definitely a good each way bet and should definitely, if he gets round okay, finish in the frame at least. So that would be my selection, Monbeg Notorious. But in all these national races, it's very hard to predict the winner. If I had to give you a second selection, I would probably go Malldini each way as well, round about 8 to 1. So they're the tips for the Irish Grand National tomorrow. Hopefully I've given you a few indications and a few feelers in there as well. So if you want more of these kind of videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be resuming normal service with the Lucky 15 predictions later in the week, so stay tuned for those. Also as well, if you don't follow me, you can also follow me on Twitter as well. That's all I've got to say. Please subscribe, like the videos, gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.